touchdown, better broke down.
With Gamtel G Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes.
I get it. Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sorry. I get it.
Bijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka. Mbale ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Ka birim ko na fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ka Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol ni fana beteat Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale di
ha e wo moyo diat ha
apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e binaji
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
baraka.
Of owning your dream homes, EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
Alright. Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use.
Hello and welcome to the brunch. I'm Lamin Cham, welcoming you to another edition of our weekly current affairs here on Kerfatu. Now, this week, as has always been the case in the past week, the topic is COVID. But for once, this week, we are going to look beyond the Greater Banjul area and move across the country. We will go to Mansakonko and Basse to check on the local preparations or the local experience of COVID in the area. And we will talk to the elected representatives of that area to highlight or to enlighten us about how the COVID situation in those areas. So I'm pleased to say I'm joined on the line here on Kerfat on this particular show by Foday Danjo. He is the chairman of the Basse Area Council and Landing Bisane, chairman of the Mansakonko Area Council. I hope if technology allows, both of them are with us. And on the other line across the Atlantic is Nima Sata Kamara, my fellow panelist, who is joining us from Springfield, Illinois State, in the United States. Now there is a noise coming from one of our guests. I don't know where is it, but if you can signal, that's all right. Now let's start with checking on everybody. For the Danjo, can you hear us loud and clear?
Again, I'm not getting you.
All right. What about you, Landing Sani in Mansakonko?
Hello, Mr.
Yes, Landing. Can you hear us?
Hello, Mr. Cham.
Yes, can you hear me, Landing? Can you hear me, Landing? Well, it looks like both Landing and Foday are.
Hello, Mr. Cham.
Yes, Foday, can you begin by telling us, if you can hear me loud and clear, how is the situation in Basse?
Come again.
How is the COVID situation in Basse as far as your council is concerned?
The COVID situation in Basse?
Yes, as far as your council is concerned.
Apart from?
As far as your council is concerned.
As far as my council is concerned?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cham, for having me online this wonderful afternoon. And it's a pleasure to be with Kerfatu today. As we all know, COVID-19 is surging in the country. And before we started all this...
Well, it looks like we have lost Landing. Cross over to Nima now. Nima, well, you've been in America, but I'm sure you've been following the situation in the country. And the latest figure, of course, suggests that we have 3 more deaths, which gives our total to over 81 or so. Yep. And of course, you have been following how the various interventions and arguments have been. You couldn't join us last week. But so far, from what you have gathered, what is your impression of how the country is battling or in fact dealing with the COVID pandemic?
Lion Cham, thank you very much. I think there is nothing more scarier than getting into Facebook or to any other social platform and seeing the number of obituaries that we see from friends, from close relatives announcing the death of their family members. And I think it has gotten to a point where nobody else can deny the existence of the virus. And based on that, I believe there is reception from the community, acceptance from the community that this is a very deadly virus that everybody needs to put efforts together to fight. So initially, I'm among the people that were very critical of the government's response, and I'm not sure if that has changed so much. But seeing also what the civil society is doing on the ground, I've been following friends who are in up countries, continuing to sensitize people. People are coming on board to give support in terms of the PPEs to the frontliners. And there are efforts even here in the diaspora in how to support, especially local government authorities, those who may not necessarily have all the equipments and all the facilities they need to ensure that this fight is effective. So based on that reception from the civil society organizations, from the community in general, I am very impressed, and I'm sure that if the momentum continues to grow that way, then there is hope.
Yeah, you may not be in the country, but you are aware of the newest regulations that came with the latest declaration of the state of emergency. That came with the curfew, as well as the mandatory and compulsory wearing of masks. How did you see those things? Well, in my view, from what I have observed, I think the curfew is reasonably or maybe generally respected. But then, of course, there were arguments as to whether it should start at 8 o'clock or 10. I mean, the argument is it should have come earlier than 10, or perhaps it is good that it's starting at 10. What do you make of that?
I'm still trying to understand why the curfew at night. I am sure the authorities have their reasons. I think what they're trying to do is to stop gatherings, unnecessary gatherings, especially at the clubs and restaurants and so on and so forth. I don't know if that gathering compared to those gatherings that happen during the day can be comparable. But nonetheless, coffee at any time, if it is yielding results, then it's a good move for me.
Well, how about mask wearing or wearing of masks, which is compulsory?
That is a global trend now. I think everywhere else, when people respect these precautions, then it's you can assume that every day that anybody goes with a mask, that is one less chance of contracting the virus. So even where I am here, I am very impressed with people's level of compliance with these precautions. Hardly do you go out to any public place and see any one individual without a mask. So it's a preventive method for any individual, but it also ensures that you're able to protect those around you. So that is something that I welcome, and I'm very impressed with the level of the authorities' level of, I don't know what is the right word for it, but I would say enforcement of that requirement, because what was lacking initially was enforcement. And now if you're having it, even if it is by use of force, then it's necessary, because we are at a time of, this is an extraordinary time, and therefore all measures should be welcome to ensure that the general public are being protected.
Now, Foday, Danjo, I don't know whether you are hearing us, but you started by describing how the situation in Bassi as far as your council is concerned. If you can hear me, just go ahead and tell us how is the situation in Bassi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, once again. Are you getting me?
Yes, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. When the pandemic was announced in Senegal, that it was around Senegal, my council came up with a strategy that is to put in place a regional task force on COVID-19. That was where we started everything. Then that was where when we started the sensitization, we are going around to communities, sensitize people about COVID-19, the dangers involved in it, how you can track it, and how you can prevent yourself. So we did that at council level. Then the later part, it was a regional team where we all joined with the regional health team, the governor's office, and other stakeholders within the region. So almost each and every stakeholder within the region played their part very well, and definitely it has paid a dividend to the region. Those we are not relenting. We are still supporting. We are still sensitizing people, and not only on the sensitization, we are also giving out. We are giving out hand washing sanitizers plus hand washing basins within all the regions. Because I have 14 wards in my region, so almost each ward council also came up with their same strategy to provide hand washing basins and hand sanitizers for their individual wards within the region. And I think definitely that has definitely paid dividends because most of the people adhere to it. So I'm still encouraging people to continue adhering to this COVID-19 issue. You know that it's real. Let's use face masks. Let us continue on these social distances.
Yes. Now that I want to come in there, the new regulations, how are they being observed? For example, the curfew in your area, have there been problems with people observing the curfew?
Can you come back? I don't know, it's not clear.
I'm saying about the curfew. How is it been observed in your area?
The
curfew.
The curfew.
Yeah, the night curfew.
Yeah, the curfew is on. The police are going out almost every night to check to see whether people are complying or not. But I'm so as information, almost 75 to 80% of the population of this area are compliant towards this curfew issue. They are taking it very seriously.
Because your area is a border crossing. People come from Senegal, from Guinea, and other places. Now, in your interactions with the health authorities, have they encountered people who wanted to sneak into the Gambia, not using the designated borders? Do you have any problem like that?
Yeah, that's a problem. You know, you have porous borders. Yeah. And most of the people who are coming to the Gambia, or let's say coming to Basse, they don't use the legal borders. Some of them go through the porous borders. They are not; those borders are not controlled. Because we didn't have men who are standing all around that area. It's not possible. So most of the people are coming, especially during the Toboski time. Many people came from Senegal through the porous borders, which I think should definitely be considered and should definitely be discussed.
Now, Basse is the second capital, officially, supposedly, of the Gambia. How do you think equipped Basse is in terms of fighting the coronavirus? For example, do you have isolation centers? Do you have testing centers and other facilities? Do you have any on the ground?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, as part of the regional task force, well, the Ministry of Health did not, let's say, identify or prepare any special place for isolation centers as of now. And there are no testing started. We haven't got any testing kit in the second capital. Most of the cases that are suspected are transported to Banjul for possible tests, but not in URR here.
And what are you doing as a council, to find a remedy for that? For example, do you yourself have any budget or initiative to liaise with the health authorities, perhaps to intervene and set up isolation centers or testing centers instead of transporting suspects to Banjul?
Can you come back again?
What are you doing as a council to remedy that situation?
What?
What are you doing as a council, your council?
What are we doing as a council?
Fantastic.
I did not get that question.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What are you doing as a council?
That's not clear.
Okay, I say.
What is the council doing? Let me try. Maybe he can hear me. I'm not sure. His question is, what is the council doing to respond to all these gaps that are left within the council? The lack of facilities, isolation facilities, for example, testing kits not being available. What is the council doing to remedy that situation?
Okay, what is the council doing as far as the testing kits and the isolation centers are concerned? We work as a team. That's the regional task force on COVID-19. And where in that committee, you have medical and health who are leading. So they always lead when they have problems. Most of the time, they tell us their problem. But for the side of identifying the isolation center and providing testing kits, when the council haven't done anything on that yet. We are on the other aspect of it, that is providing sanitary materials and other things. We are on that part. But on the side of identifying isolation centers and providing testing kits for the region, we think that the Ministry of Health should take the lead and we follow them.
All right, I wonder how you can hear somebody talking from America and you cannot hear me talking to you from here in Brusubi. But then let me continue. Do you still have weddings, naming ceremonies, or parties still going on in Basse?
No, those social activities are not going on in Basse now.
Really? When you hear about them, what do you do as a council? So those things are not happening?
No, that is not happening.
All right, let me take you back a little bit. There have been reports from many councils that the central government needs to intervene by supporting the councils in the fight against the pandemic. Do you share the same opinion in Basse?
Come back in.
Nima, can you help here? I can hear.
Many councils are of the opinion that the government needs to come to the aid of the councils in terms of providing resources to help them to fight against this virus. Do you share that opinion?
Sorry, can you come back again? Let me get that clear.
His question is that, do you share the opinion of many people who are saying that the government needs to come to the aid of the council? They need to provide them with the resources that they need to fight against this virus. In other words, because the council may be very ill-equipped at this point.
Yes, I think that is very, very important. As far as the grassroots is concerned, no one can leave the council behind. And if we leave the council behind, our aims and objectives will not be able to meet, because we are near to the people, we are the grassroots. So anything that government is doing, especially in the fight of this COVID-19, I think the proper channel that they should use is through the councils. I'm 100% sure if they use the councils, almost all our targets will be met, because we have councillors all around the region. Every ward has a councillor, and their councillors are near to the taxpayer. So if government wants to help the region, let them go through the councils. If they go through the councils, I'm 100% sure almost everything will be possible, and everything will go down to the people that are supposed to expect, that are supposed to get the support.
All right, I will. Before I come to Nima to share her opinion about what's happening around your region, I want to ask one question again concerning COVID, but this time it is the government's COVID relief package in terms of food, etc. How was this conducted in your region? For example, in other regions we hear of people who said they haven't got anything from the COVID package. How widespread, if that is the case, in your region?
You mean the COVID food stuff?
Yes, that's right. How was it conducted, the distribution in your area?
Well, the council was not involved in it.
Oh.
Yeah, the council was not involved in it. It was some people like the governors of it, they are taking the lead, but the council were not involved in it.
But
and what was the
what would be your estimation of the number of people who needed this support, had access to these food packages?
You want to come back again?
He wanted to know how widespread was the distribution done in Basse to ensure that everybody who is in need of this COVID package had access.
The way it is done in Basse?
Yeah.
Okay. Though I know it was distributed within the region, but there are still large communities or many communities that are still complaining that they haven't seen anything. They haven't got anything as far as the COVID-19 food support is concerned. There are some communities within the region who are still complaining of that.
All right, Nima, you stay there, Mr. Danjo. We'll come back to what I have observed in Basse is that in terms of the COVID, there are, and it's supposed to be the second most important, place in the country, apart from Banjul. There's no testing center, there is no isolation center, People who are suspected to be COVID-19 positive or whatever are transported to Banjul, and where they will be tested, and then they wait for their results. If they are negative, they find their way back by themselves, or if they are positive, well, they come to trace their contact, which all prove difficult. What do you think the Ministry of Health should have done in a place like Pasay, which is also a border town?
Lamin Cham, I think everything that we have been raising concerns around is the fact that response to COVID-19 shouldn't just be the work of the central government. But it goes without saying that the leadership at the central government, including the president and the Ministry of Health and the other authorities that are responsible for this fight, should understand that this fight is a multi-stakeholder fight. It's not just one entity doing everything. And we have said that communication was lacking generally because the people who were closest to those that they represent, who would listen to them, have not been included in the fight strategically. And you are referring to the area councils, you are referring to the alcalos of their villages, you are referring to influential people within communities, you are referring to cultural groups and so on and so forth. And all of these things were lacking. If the work has been decentralized that way, even the communication, even the response, if it was being decentralized that way, what the effect that is going to have is that people are going to take ownership of this fight. They're going to take ownership of this effort, but also that the government will be able to know what the needs of the people are in terms of their efforts, in terms of their response to the fight. For example, as we're speaking, I understand that in LRR, there is no mortuary where in any event that anybody dies from COVID, their bodies can be rested for a while until the tests are done, to be separated from their family so that the spread can be curbed. There is no isolation centers. How do you remove people from their homes? Where do you take them if they test positive for COVID-19? There are no testing centers. Testing has not been decentralized. How do people isolate if it is going to take weeks before they know their status? So what you're basically saying is that the rural areas, all the other area council, what you're telling them is that we don't care about your people, basically, because at the end of the day, these are the places where facilities are lacking. You don't have good medical facilities. I'm not even sure there is any hospital there or any clinic that has a ventilator, for example. So if you're not helping them to fasten their response, what you're doing is aiding the spread of the virus.
Now, even at the best of times, like you said, there are very few facilities, if there is any at all, in those areas. Now, we are being told that government or other health personnel themselves have been affected by COVID. I mean, don't you think all these are factors that leads to this total lack of facilities in the province? Even to see somebody that you will post to Basay or LRR could be difficult if they themselves felt that they are not properly equipped to tackle COVID-19 patients.
So I don't know the level of personal protective equipments that are available to frontliners, especially nurses and medical officers in those areas. But I think it is safe to suggest or to imagine that even these things can be lacking. So it doesn't boost the confidence of anybody who is going to put their lives at risk to be able to to take this fight personally and with much confidence. So I think it's just a general lack of, how would I say, a general lack of support in that area means that the frontliners are not safe, the people that they're serving are not safe, and the authorities in those regions feel helpless generally. But I also understand that help is coming from many quarters, especially from the diaspora. People are discussing how they can be of help to these authorities, and I know that's where we know about their concerns, because these are people who come from these regions and they know the problems of their people and they're willing to help. And I think the government should have taken the lead in that, but without government support, individuals anywhere, whatever they can do, they are trying to do that.
All right, Danjo, if you can hear us, what would you like as the chairman to be in place in terms of facilities to fight this COVID or to help cope this COVID spread in your area?
Pardon?
What would you like to be in place? What do you want? What sort of interventions you think the government should do to help ease the burden on your council and or other authorities there to fight the pandemic?
Yeah, I think the first thing that government should do at this point in time is to identify an isolation center, where when we have COVID-19 patients or those who are supposed to be quarantined, or for the quarantine, it's okay because we are using the hotels here. Like we use the Ajib for the numerous suspected case of COVID-19. We use Ajib where we brought all his family members there, all his contacts there. So that one is okay. But for a separate isolation center where at least there will be ventilators, there will be healthcare personnel who are going to
treatment center
identified. And at least it should be a place where it's very conducive, where you have enough water, the sanitary access of it are all in place. If those are all taken care of, then we have to testing kits. A place should be identified, either at the Basel laboratory or many laboratories, mobile laboratories should be also be put in place, where most of this testing of COVID-19 could be done. Then in that case, wherever we have a suspect or wherever we have somebody who's supposed to go to quarantine, can we move to that place and he'll be tested? If it needs treatment, the treatment will be done within Basel than taking the individual all the way to Combo. I think government needs to put that into consideration. If we have that within our region, I think that will really help us.
Yeah, I have a question for Danjo. I think at this point it's also important to see the trend of the spread of the virus in the local government areas. What is the amount of confirmed cases as at now at Basel, you think?
As of now, we don't have any data that's showing that other than the numerical case, whether we have any case in Basel at this point in time. It could be possible, but I'm not opportunity to know that at this point in time.
Has that have anything to do with the lack of testing that is happening there? You think?
Is it because not many people have been tested? There's no opportunity to test.
Can you come back again?
Nima?
Has the lack of data has any connection with the lack of testing in the region?
I'm not getting you.
All right. If you can hear me, here in the urban area, it has now become a common sight to see Red Cross people, escorting dead bodies. Very scary sights and very worrying sites in the urban area. Do you have such cases in Basel, and how has the population reacted to that? Danjo, you cannot hear us. Nima, can you try?
I think I'm lost on that.
Hello?
Can you repeat it?
I am saying that here in the Combos, at least, it's a common sight to see dead bodies being escorted by Red Cross dressed in masks, etc., which are very worrying and frightening sights. And people's reaction have, generally been fear and anxiety. Are there things like that happening in Basel?
Can I be allowed to reframe that?
I'm not getting you, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if you're not getting much intervention, I don't think it's safe to say that we would be seeing frontliners visibly as we do in the urban areas. Mr. Danjo, can you hear me? Mr. Danjo?
Well, technology is really failing us, as it has failed us completely in the case of Manchester.
Can you hear me? We're not seeing your face. I don't know what's happening.
We are not seeing your face now. Can you turn your camera? Well, it looks like we are battling with technological problems in Basel. Are you there, Daniel?
Yeah.
All right. I was just asking whether there's a lot of anxiety here among the people. We are battling with technological problems in Basel. And something is echoing. You are your things is okay. That's right. You can hear me now. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of anxiety in this part of the country when we see Red Cross people escorting dead bodies, and people's reaction have been, well, of course, this is a very serious situation now. Everybody's anxious. Is there any such things in Basel area?
Come again, sorry.
Well, I think we have an idea as to how bad the audio is there, Nima. Okay,
yeah.
Nima, as we wait for Basel, I mean, the issue that most people also have here is that every death is associated with COVID, one way or the other. I mean, every dead body at the hospital is subjected to some testing, and then the authorities will only release the body if the Red Cross people actually are on the ground, whether or not the test results are available. So the Red Cross continue to have larger figures of the people they have buried, more than the official figures of COVID deaths. So that's a lot of confusion in that. I don't know what you understand about that.
I think that's the best way to go about it, to treat every case as a COVID case until it turns otherwise. Because you cannot take chances with some deaths that are unexplained to expose people to COVID-19 and later on realize that somebody that has passed has in fact passed from the virus. So I think that for me, that's a welcome initiative to have the Red Cross treating every individual, every dead person as a COVID-19 victim until otherwise, really turned otherwise, to lessen people's exposure. Because Gambians, we have this tradition of rushing to bury people without first learning about their cause of death. So if that happens, and I think also that's the reason why, as we are speaking about the issue at the local government level, I think it's worse even in the rural areas where people would die and their death would be diagnosed, or if that's the right word to use, by just a traditional person like an imam or the alcalde of the village to just test a pulse and say, oh, he's dead. And sometimes it may even be that we bury people that are not actually dead.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
Exactly. So hardly would you have anybody take a dead person to the hospital to really confirm their death, much less their cause of death. And I think having the Red Cross around, not just in the greater Banjul areas, but everywhere else within the country, if the capacity allows for it, or even we should be recruiting more people now and equipping them with the necessary equipment to be stationed at every region within the country to ensure that people are less exposed to COVID-19, especially with regards to their deaf people.
But finally, Nima, because apparently I think we have lost our man for good now. I think, unfortunately, we cannot get Mansa Konko, where technology woefully failed us. I was thinking Mansa Konko would have been a lot better than Basse, but don't forget Basse is the second episode. So,
but don't forget, I'm representing Mansa Konko.
Okay, fantastic. We will, of course, continue having the rural authorities on the COVID situation next week, perhaps, if the lines are better or the connections are better. But Nimana, finally, let's talk about how it affects education. For example, your institution, University of the Gambia, is shut. So is the Gambia College, the GTTI, and other tertiary institutions. But last week, people who are sitting to the WAS, and of course Gabesi, a few weeks previously, had their exams. Some are still on this. From what you have gathered from where you are, how did it go?
I think returning back to school has become a global debate. It's happening everywhere, whether people should go back or not. But you cannot also discount the impact that this virus is going to have on education moving forward. It's been almost 7 months now or more that some schools have remained closed. The on-site examination didn't start with the grade 12. It starts with UTG. We had our exams and many precautions were taken. Classrooms were fumigated at every few hours. Students were provided with masks. There were soaps, water and soap. There were hand sanitizers placed at every strategic position for people. So many precautions were taken. I don't know if the same had happened for the grade 12. I think there is a need to always balance also. I'm not going to say that it's not good to bring students together, but it's very difficult to deal with teenagers in that way. You can put in place much precaution as you can, but teenagers are hard to be separated, especially if they haven't seen each other for long. So I would assume that after the exams, perhaps if we can, everybody who was involved in that exam be tested to ensure that none of them were exposed to the virus. But as far as education is concerned, I think there should be some level of balance there.
All right, Nimasana Kamara in Springfield, Illinois State, United States of America. Thank you very much for joining us on the brunch. And Foday Danjo, the chairman of Basse Area Council earlier, and even Landing B. Sane, the chairman of Mansakonko Area Council, who had tried but was unsuccessful to join this show. On behalf of all of these people, Lavin Cham here, wishing you have a great weekend. Goodbye.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy kër fan kër zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin ngeen xam ngeen fan la. Fii ngeen di ñëw. Suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba laka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw skincare plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon ne dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skin care products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla waaye man nag skin care mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner Kiwi Eye the whole range Lighten Up Gold Tomatine I mean the list can just go on and on and on and on lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox skin care plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu nga United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes you know fragrances men's shirts accessories we do dresses as well we do blouses I mean we do shoes name it we do them Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection zero task fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task kenn waratu fi am problème kanam kenn waratu fi am problème yu picca boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii
Love like fire. Bring my love like fire.
Miss V Designer Outlet is the #1 quality and affordable stop shop for all your needs. Get your evening dresses, suit and ties, office wears for both ladies and gentlemen, beach wears, sport wears, pure leather shoes for men, quality belts, bags, heels for all beautiful ladies, original perfumes, accessories, and a lot more. Find us at Kololini Road opposite Gaddafi Mosque at the Aqua Bridge Station, or call us on 295-3411 or 764-2486. Miss B Designer Outlet. Shop right, look good.